and it's only a matter of time before North Korea develops the capability to strike the U.S. mainland, Tillerson said. Failing to act now on the most pressing security issue in the world may bring catastrophic consequences. U.S. President Donald Trump said the launch was an affront to China, the North's sole main ally. North Korea disrespected the wishes of China and its highly respected president when it launched, though unsuccessfully, a missile today. Bad, Trump said in a post on Twitter after the launch. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi told the UN meeting it was not only up to China to solve the North Korean problem. The key to solving the nuclear issue on the peninsula does not lie in the hands of the Chinese side, Wang said. In a commentary on Saturday, China's official Xinhua news agency said both North Korea and the United States needed to tread cautiously. If both sides fail to make such necessary concessions, then not only will the two countries, but the whole region and the whole world end up paying a heavy price for a possible confrontation. Trump, in an interview with Reuters on Thursday, praised Chinese leader Xi Jinping for trying very hard on North Korea but warned a major conflict was possible. The North has been conducting missile and nuclear weapons-related activities at an unprecedented rate and is believed to have made progress in developing intermediate-range and submarine-launched missiles. Tension on the Korean Peninsula has been high for weeks over fears the North may conduct a long-range missile test, or its sixth nuclear test, around the time of the April 15th anniversary of its state founder's birth. Japan protests. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe condemned the test as a grave threat to the international order. I urged Russia to play a constructive role in dealing with North Korea, Abe told reporters in London. Japan is watching how China will act in regard to North Korea. U.S. officials, speaking on condition of anonymity, said the North Koreans had probably tested a medium-range missile known as a KN-17 and it appeared to have broken up within minutes of taking off. The South Korean military said the missile reached an altitude of 71 kilometers (44 miles) before disintegrating. It said the launch was a clear violation of UN resolutions and warned the North not to act rashly. With North Korea acting in defiance of the pressure, the United States could conduct new naval drills and deploy more ships and aircraft in the region, a U.S. official told Reuters. The dispatch of Carl Vinson to the waters off the Korean Peninsula is a reckless action of the war maniacs aimed at an extremely dangerous nuclear war, the wrote Wonsan, the official newspaper of North Korea's ruling Workers' Party, said in a commentary on Saturday. Intercontinental ballistic rockets will fly into the United States if the U.S. shows any slight sign of provocation, the newspaper said. More sanctions mooted. Kim Dong-eub, an expert at Kyungnam University's Institute of Far Eastern Studies in Seoul, said North Korea might have got the data it wanted with the missile's short flight, then blown it up in a bid to limit the anger of China, which warned Pyongyang against further provocation. North Korea rattled world powers in February when it successfully launched a new intermediate-range ballistic missile that it said could carry a nuclear weapon. It also successfully tested ballistic missiles on March 6. It is not clear what has caused the series of failed missile tests since then. The Trump administration could respond to the test by speeding up its plans for new U.S. sanctions, including possible measures against specific North Korean and Chinese entities, said the U.S. official, who declined to be identified. Something that's ready to go could be taken from the larger package and expedited, said the official. The UN Security Council is likely to start discussing a statement to condemn the missile launch, said diplomats. But condemnations and sanctions resolutions since 2006, when North Korea conducted its first nuclear test, have done little to impede its push for ballistic missiles and nuclear arms. The South Korean politician expected to win a May 9 presidential election, Moon Jae-in, called the test an exercise in futility. We urge again the Kim Jong-un regime to immediately stop reckless provocative acts and choose the path to cooperate with the international community, Park Kwon, a spokesman for Moon, said in a statement, referring to the North Korean leader. Moon has advocated a more moderate policy on the North and been critical of the deployment of an advanced U.S. missile defense system in the South intended to counter North Korea's missile threat, which China also strongly objects to.
Shock claims North Korea's botched missile test really success. And it was nuke. North Korea's latest missile launch was a success, and was really a nuclear test, it has been claimed. An unidentified missile was launched from South Gyeonggi Province, in North Korea. In the early hours of Saturday, the rocket reportedly blew up in midair and dictator Kim Jong-un was mocked around the world for failing to get it up yet again. But sources in the South Korean government have suggested they may have misjudged the launch. The missile was meant to explode, and it was part of Kim's nuclear weapons program, they fear. We don't believe the midair explosion was an accident, a government official said. The test was part of bid to develop a new nuke different from Kim's existing arsenal. The official said, the nature of the new weapon is unclear, but the North is trying to make a nuclear weapon small. Unlike previous tests, which have usually seen the projectile end up in the Sea of Japan, the missile never left North Korea. Some have suggested Kim's rocket engineers detonated it because veered off course towards Russia. It flew for between 2 and 3 minutes, reaching a height of 45 miles before exploding, U.S. and South Korean military officials said. South Korean sources said this was further evidence the missile behaved as intended. It reached an altitude 3 times higher than stabilizing height. The South Korea official said, this means the chances that any internal mechanical failure caused the explosion were very low. Interestingly, it also matches up with the propaganda released by North Korea. On Monday, a foreign ministry spokesman said the trigger-happy nation has been bolstering its nuclear deterrence despite manifold difficulties. This appears to suggest the launch was aimed towards perfecting a new nuclear weapon.
지난해 8월 전략 잠수함 탄도탄 수중시험 발사에서 이룩한 성과에 토대하여 이 무기 체계를 사거리를 연장한 지상대 지상 탄도탄으로 개발할 때 대한 전투적 과업을 제시하셨습니다. 조직과 지휘 협동품 보장 사업을 짜고 들어 대차 생사 동지께서는 먼 덩이 토는 동쪽 하늘을 바라보시. 경의하는 최고領導자 동지께서는 감시기의 시동 특성을 확증하였으며 능동 구간력 고체 로켓 발동기회로 확고히 전환되었으며 여기 향상된 핵탄두 장착이 가능한 조종 전께 드리는 가장 깨끗한 탄도탄 북극성 이용시험 발사에 참가한 북방 선물로 된다고 뜨겁게 말씀하셨습니다. 우리 당의 높은 존엄과 권위를 옹호하고 우리 혁명을 보는 과정을 진두지휘하시던 경의하는
U.S. to launch second nuke missile capable of hitting North Korea today. Donald Trump will test a second intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, in less than a week as tensions with North Korea threaten to spill into war. Another unarmed Minuteman III missile will be test-fired by U.S. military officials at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California on Wednesday. The test comes a week after the U.S. successfully test-fired an ICBM at the airbase. Pentagon officials said the new test has been long planned, much like the last one, U.S. officials told Fox News. Colonel John Moss, 30th Space Wing Commander, said the launch was to demonstrate the nuclear capabilities of the U.S. He said, Team V is once again ready to work with Air Force Global Strike Command to successfully launch another Minuteman III missile. These Minuteman launches are essential to verify the status of our national nuclear force and to demonstrate our national nuclear capabilities. We are proud of our long history in partnering with the men and women of the 576th Flight Test Squadron to execute these missions for the nation. War tensions between Washington and Pyongyang have been spiraling out of control in recent weeks. An armada of U.S. warships, including aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson, is parked in the Pacific just off the Korean Peninsula. In response, North Korea has threatened to submerge the U.S. in a sea of fire. An ICBM is a long-range guided ballistic missile with a minimum range of 5,500 kilometers. In theory, it is thought U.S. and North Korea, which are around 8,000 kilometers apart, could strike each other with an ICBM. The primary purpose of the missile is to deliver several warheads containing nuclear weapons on multiple long-range targets.
Greetings world, we are anonymous. North Korea called the strikes absolutely unpardonable, saying they prove its nuclear weapons are justified to protect the country against Washington's ever more reckless moves for a war. The comments were made by a foreign ministry official and carried Sunday by North Korea's state-run Korean Central News Agency. The official spoke under anonymity, which is common in KCNA reports. Advisors said Trump was outraged by heartbreaking images of young children who were among the dozens killed in the Syrian chemical attack and ordered his national security team to swiftly prepare military options. Trump made it a point to address the media about the serious strike at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida just moments after dining with his Chinese counterpart President Xi Jinping. Trump has said that if China doesn't exert more pressure on North Korea, the United States will act alone. The immediate focus after the strikes was on Russia's reaction, which was not happy with the strikes and spoke in defense of Syria. The attention has since shifted onto the next move by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Some forces are loud-mouthed that the recent US military attack on Syria is an action of warning us, but we are not frightened by it, the report said, adding that the North's tremendous military muscle with a nuclear force as its pivot will foil any aggression by the US.